Hello and welcome to another exciting video. In today's adventure, we are going to be analyzing an array of animals and count how many of them have a specific number of legs. We're going to be I'm going to be showing you a program that examines an array of different animals and testing to see how many of them have different legs, things like that. So let's get right to it. I have VS Code up already. Before we begin, with regard to the information I was given for this, a couple of questions I might ask would be about case sensitivity, like, should lion be capital lion and lowercase lion be treated the same? I'm just going to assume case insensitive, and that's how I built this. Um, Unknown animals, how should the program handle those? Um, I'm just going to assume we'll count it as 0. And then input size, are we dealing with millions or a few? And if we're dealing with millions, we got to start worrying about memory. With regard to the time and space complexity of the challenge, I broke it down into big O is n plus m. N is the number of animals in the input array. We need to visit each one time, and m is the number of animals in our reference set, which we are using to build it initially. And because it's big O times that, uh, it's going to scale linearly, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Kind of like just looking through a file cabinet. We got to look through it at least once in order to find the file. But moving on to the space complexity, we store the M animal uh, names in our four-legged reference set, which I'll break down more in a moment. The size of the input array doesn't increase our permanent memory usage, though, because we don't store the input, we just iterate through it. All right, now let's look at this. To start, we did an import of the unit test, and I kind of addressed this from um, creating the library and then creating test cases to verify it, as opposed to like a search database where someone is looking this information up. That's how I chose to deal with this challenge. We got import test, and then here the function def count four-legged animals. With animals, counts the number of animals which have 4 legs. Four-legged reference is, of course, all the animals that do have 4 legs, because we need that, as we just discussed in the time complexity. Count 0 initializes a counter to keep track of how many four-legged animals there are. Starts us at 0. And for animals and animals iterates through each animal in the input list to check if it is a four-legged animal or not. Next, we deal with the casing sensitivity. It normalizes the animal names if animal dot lower. Dot lower normalizes the animal name to lowercase and checks if it exists, so we don't miss anything. But as I said in the questions, like, is capital lion different than lowercase? Is that something we need to worry about? Next, count plus or minus 1, or sorry, plus equals 1. If the animal is found, then we increase the count by 1. And return count returns the function, the total number of four-legged animals found in the input list. Here are the test cases. Class test animal counter unit test.test case creates a folder for the test cases. And we have 6 of them total here. The first test, test count four-legged animals, as you can imagine, checks a list of mixed animals and ensures that the function correctly identifies and counts only the four-legged ones. And there should be 6 of them there, so that's how it does it. The next test, no four-legged animals, just test if there aren't any, and it should come out to 0. After that, we have test all four-legged animals, and it should count 6. doesn't, it will fail. Then empty list, we'll be doing that, and that's more of an edge case. Um, we're just going to say it returns 0 there, but if something else should be returned, maybe a message, that might be another question to ask. Uh, case sensitivity, that's pretty self-explanatory there. Um, make sure it counts it regardless of the input strings. So here it's different capitalization, but it should correctly see that there are 3. And test unknown animals. I like this one because, if you're putting like unicorn or dragon or something, um, it should ensure that only 4-legged animals are being counted. So that's just going to return 0. And if name is equal to main, uh, checks if the script is being run directly by you, the user, uh, so that if you're like somebody else is looking in your repo or something, it doesn't get choppy. Um, and the lastly here, unit test.main are the uh, tells the unit test to go to every function and execute it. And it's useful for things like Jupyter notebooks because it prevents it from exiting. So let's give it a whirl here. Ran all 6 tests and they came back okay. So that shows that the library uh, is intact. It's being read properly. Um, the test cases confirm what's in the library. So this isn't like a search feature where we like entered in all the specifics of like the centipede and things like that. This is more just for 4-legged animals and distinguishing them in a library with other animals. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.